Good morning, everyone. Let's continue with Romeo and Juliet. Open to page number 43. Right? I hope you remember Juliet, she was worried that her parents, they've decided to marry her. She was really reluctant. She was sad. She was missing Romeo. And at the same time, her parents, they were pretty angry that she was not ready to marry Count Paris. Now, Juliet had a thought in her mind. She wanted to meet Friar Lawrence. She knew one thing, that Friar Lawrence will surely help her out. And the same thing happened here. She went to Friar Lawrence, and when she went, when she reached there, she actually saw Count Paris there, who had already invited Friar Lawrence to take care of the ceremony. That means Friar Lawrence was well aware of the fact of Juliet's marriage. Okay, let's see what happens after that. Page number 43 and second paragraph. Alone with the priest, Juliet earnestly begged his advice and help. There was nothing she would not face, even death by her own hands, rather than give up Romeo and marry the Count. Now she was so desperate that she was ready to give up her own life. She was ready to kill herself. The good priest, who loved both Romeo and Juliet, now proposed a remedy that would need great courage. Now you should know what remedy this priest had for Romeo and Juliet. Now understand. He tells her, "Go home," he said, "be merry. Say you will marry Paris. Tomorrow is Wednesday. See that you sleep alone tomorrow night. Let not your nurse be with you in the room." Okay, before I read it, I'll give you the hint what the priest actually wants her to do. The priest had a solution. He had a kind of a, medicine that he gave to Juliet, and he said that, see, tomorrow is Wednesday and you're getting married the day after. So what you can do is on Wednesday night when you're sleeping, sleep alone. Before sleeping, take this medicine. And what will happen is this medicine will make your body still, and your breath will, you'll stop breathing for around 48 hours. That means the complete Thursday will pass on until Friday, till the whole ceremony takes place. So there won't be any marriage. They'll think that you're dead, and you will be saved. By the time I'll send a letter, I'll send a messenger to Romeo so that he'll come and he'll take you away from here. Now this was the whole plan that was supposed to take place. That means Friar Lawrence was supposed to give a liquid or a medicine to Juliet so that she would sleep for 2 days, continuous 2 days, and he was supposed to call Romeo as soon as possible, informing him about his plan, right? So that Romeo will not panic thinking that Juliet is dead. Okay, let's see what happens. He tells her, "Tomorrow is Wednesday. See that you sleep alone tomorrow night. Let not your nurse be with you in the room. Take this bottle, and when you are in bed, drink of the liquid in it." Saying this, Friar Lawrence put a small bottle into her hand. He said that the effect of drinking its content would be that for 42 hours afterwards. Remember, not 48 hours, 42 hours, okay? She would lie unconscious and seemingly lifeless. So what was the effect of that liquid? That she would lie unconscious and lifeless. And so when her intended husband came in the morning, he would certainly think her dead. And on the Thursday morning, when they have the ceremony and all, when Count Paris will come, they'll find her dead. According to the customs of the country, she would then be carried to the family grave to await her burial. Now, according to the custom in their family, they'll take Juliet and she'll have to wait. They'll keep her body, near the grave, and they'll wait for the burial. If, therefore, she had the courage to let all this be done to her, after 42 hours she would come back to consciousness as if awakening from a dream. So after 42 hours, what will happen? She'll come back to life. Meanwhile, He went on. What he said, meanwhile, uh, I shall have sent a message to Romeo asking him to come at the hour of your awakening to take you away to Montour. So he says, you don't have to worry while you're asleep, while you are in the unconscious state. I'll send a messenger and I'll call Romeo so that he'll be there when you are awake, and Romeo can then take you away to Montour. Juliet welcomed the plan. Juliet was comfortable, she was on board, she was ready to give try to this plan. She went home ready to do as Lawrence had directed. She found her parents busy arranging for the marriage feast. As she now seemed ready to obey her father's wishes, he was well pleased with the result of her visit to the priest. Now father was happy. Her father, okay, he was actually happy. Why? Because she was ready to marry Count Paris now. According to Friar Lawrence's instructions, now she was happy, she was ready to marry, and everything was under control. As the holy priest has asked me, Juliet said, I beg your pardon. So she said she felt sorry for being bad. From this time forward, I will ever be ruled by you. And Juliet made a great show of interest in choosing her marriage dress and ornaments. But she begged her nurse to leave her alone that night and to go and help her mother in making her preparations. So that night, on a Wednesday night, what she did, she told her nurse to go away to help her mother in making preparations for the wedding. When the time came, it needed all her courage to take the dangerous liquid. Now it was a dangerous liquid. However, she had the courage to do it. Might it not be some poison that priest had given her? But no, he was too good and kind to do that. Or what if she woke too soon in the dark underground room among the bones of the dead? The thought filled her with great fear. Now she was she was scared. She was thinking about what if it's a poison? What if she gets awake at the wrong hour when she's underground with the bones and all? Yet, remembering her love for Romeo, she drank of the liquid. But she was so madly in love with Romeo that without the second thought she drank the whole liquid and immediately sank into unconsciousness. And suddenly she sank into unconscious state. Meanwhile, relieved at Juliet's change of mind, her parents and the servants of the house busied themselves in making preparations for the next day's ceremony. Now, Juliet's parents and the servants, they were quite relieved that Juliet is now in a better state. She has agreed to get married, and everything seemed to be, smooth and nice. Her father, up very early, heard Paris and his people coming and asked the nurse to call Juliet. Now, this is Thursday's morning. Her father, he got up early. He heard that Count Paris and his people are on their way. So he sent the nurse to go and wake Juliet. Go, wake Juliet and dress her properly. I will go and talk with Paris. Make haste, make haste. The husband to me has already come. Make haste, I say. So he's really excited. He has sent the nurse to go and awake Juliet, and to make her dressed. He's really excited as a father. He says, okay, I'll go and I'll, welcome Count Paris. So he's really happy. But when the nurse entered Juliet's room, she could scarcely believe her eyes. At first, she thought that the girl was sleeping and tried to wake her. In vain, means it was all useless. Juliet did not stir. Stir means she did not move, but lay there, her cheeks pale, her limbs stiff and cold. Now Juliet, she was in the unconscious state. So she was lying there as if she was lifeless. In sudden fear and anxiety, the nurse called in the parents. They all thought Juliet was dead. Then all was confusion, fear, and disappointment in the house. Paris stood dumb with astonishment. Astonishment, disappointment, and sorrow overcame the parents. Now, the moment they all got to know that Juliet was dead, there was sadness, disappointment, astonishment. They were surprised. How is it possible that she died in a night? How come she's dead? And they were all actually in sorrow, filled with sorrow. All their careful plans and hopes for their daughter had come cruelly to nothing. Whatever they had planned for their daughter, the plans were good, and they had carefully planned for her future. Everything had come to an end. As Friar Lawrence, okay, I will continue. Friar Lawrence, alone of the company, kept his head. As a priest should, he tried to comfort them and asked them to make ready for the burial ceremony. Now, Friar Lawrence was the one who knew everything about the plan. He knew that Juliet was not dead, but she was in an unconscious state. So before Juliet could wake up, he told the parents and the Count Paris to arrange for the burial ceremony. As a priest, okay, after that, thus the day, which had begun so happily for the family, ended in heavy sorrow, as the body of Juliet was carried away to be buried. Now, finally, that day which started, which actually began with a happiness, with the excitement, it ended into sorrow for the family. By bad news, it is said, travels faster than good news. Okay, it is actually said that bad news travels faster than the good news. So Romeo was in Mantua now. Before he could know, before the priest could tell him about his plan, what happened? He got the news of Juliet's death. Let's see. The news of Juliet's death and burial quickly reached Romeo at Mantua. But he had not yet had the message from Friar Lawrence. Now the messenger from Friar Lawrence had not yet reached Romeo, and Romeo got the news of Juliet's death, which would have explained that she was not really dead, but only was waiting for the coming of Romeo. Now the message was not clear, and Romeo was in despair. Before the bad news about Juliet came, Romeo had been feeling unusually light-hearted. Romeo was happy, he was okay, but the moment he got the news, it was the worst for him. He had waked from a happy dream pointing to something good to come. That is, Juliet had found him dead, and with kisses had bred such life upon his lips that he lived again and was an emperor. Okay, now, according to Romeo's dream, he dreamed that one day he was dead, and Juliet, when she kissed him, he was all back to his senses. He was awake. So he had a beautiful dream. Romeo was easily moved to joy and sorrow. That means he was really emotional. Easily moved to joys and sorrows means that he was really sensitive and emotional. The news which his servant brought him of Juliet's death and burial threw him into violent despair. Means he got so aggressive and sad that, he lost his senses. He felt that he must go at once and have a last look at his Juliet, dead though she lay. Now he really wanted to go and see Juliet for the last time. Maybe she was dead, but according to him, he really wanted to have a last look at her. So he asked his servant to get his horse ready immediately for a journey. Another maddening desire came to him. Now there was another maddening thought that came to him. What he did while he was on his way back to Verona, he purchased a bottle of poison. He would get some poison from a shop nearby and take it with him. For if Juliet were dead, life would have no more joy for him. Though the selling of poison was punishable by death according to the law of Mantua, the poor shopkeeper could not resist the high price Romeo offered. Now the poor shopkeeper, he couldn't deny Romeo. He paid a very high price. He was ready to pay a lot of money for the poison. And of course, the poor person, he agreed. He gave Romeo a bottle of poison, and of course, Romeo paid him a high price. Thus prepared, Romeo rode straight off and reached Verona by the middle of the night. Now, somewhat messenger or the message was not clear, and Romeo was already in Verona. Then he found his way to the churchyard in which lay the family grave of Capulets. He went to the family grave. By the light of a lamp and the help of an iron bar, he began to break open the underground room in which the dead Capulets lay. As he was thus engaged, suddenly words fell upon his ear. "O wicked Montague!" They were spoken by the young Count Paris, who had come even at this late hour of night to scatter flowers and pour out his tears upon the grave of her who should have been his wife. Now Count Paris was there when Romeo was actually breaking into the grave. Count Paris was there. He felt really bad. He thought that maybe Romeo is here to make fun of Juliet, or to make fun of the Capulet. So he was really angry. You know, he, as we remembered, knew nothing of Romeo's love for Juliet. Now Count Paris had no idea about Romeo and Juliet. He was not aware of it. He knew how the Capulets and the Montagues hated each other, and supposed that Romeo had come to shame the last resting place of his deadly enemies. So he thought that maybe Romeo has come here to, make fun of the people who are dead, you know. So he angrily asked him to stop and prepared to arrest him, for what Romeo was attempting to do was held a very hateful crime. Now Count Paris, he thought that Romeo is committing a crime, and because of his hatred, he asked his soldiers to arrest Romeo. Now, I'll wait till here. We'll do from page number 47 in the next video. Understand here, Romeo was not bad. He was there to see Juliet for the last time and to drink poison. But there was Count Paris. He was also there. He was in love with Juliet. He wanted to see Juliet for the last time, to cry on her grave, to scatter some flowers. But the moment he saw Romeo there, he lost his mind. He got really angry. He thought maybe Romeo is here to make fun of the Montagues. To make fun of the Capulets. And that really angered him. He even ordered his soldiers to arrest Romeo. Right? So we've done till here. The rest will continue in the next video. Please make sure that you do read these 2 pages again. Understand, we just have 2 pages. If you'll not read them, it will be a kind of a burden for you. So it's better you just read it, so that you know what you are doing and just prepare it. Okay? And see, you do have prepositions and conjunctions in your final term as well. They're repeated. So please go through those chapters. I have uploaded the same videos for you for prepositions and conjunctions. Prepare them nicely. For the next new chapters of English language, I'll be uploading another videos. Okay? So that is it. Now just go through the chapter, read Romeo and Juliet, otherwise you'll have problem understanding the story. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you.